with old school metal body covers.
We're going streaking!
They have they have a logo for old school. Ooh, there's a little seal. This is better than what you get in the Ballistic. This is Shimano level, even though it's a Lego part. Shimano's Super Stopper is kind of proprietary to them. Every other one on the market is basically a Lego part. This is a very, very nice anti-reverse clutch. It's a friction surface of the gear teeth. There are no machining marks. You can see the machining marks on the inside in here, but not on the face of the gear teeth. Gentlemen, ladies, and anyone in between, I welcome you all, and today we'll be getting up close and personal with 13 Fishing's new Prototype TX. Now, before we go ahead and get started, I just want to say thank you very much to Ryan over at P4P Fishing. He was polite enough to submit me his reel to do my customary unboxing, fondling, and teardown, and he also allowed me to put some time on it. So this is going to be me giving my initial impressions. It's not a review, but just giving you guys a quick rundown of what the reel's all about and my, what my opinion is on it based on fondling it on a table. So, with all that being said, let's go to 13 Fishing's always amusing. I don't even want to know what this is. Marketing? Let's go ahead and do a quick rundown of what they got on the side of the box. For starters, I'm already liking what I'm seeing. We got quadruple Ds instead of double Ds, and it's a forged main gear. So we don't know what 4D means, but it's not the number 40. It's not double Ds, it's quadruple Ds, and yeah, so we're going to take a look at that. We don't know if it's made out of peanut butter or aluminum or steel or, zinc, but we're going to get inside and find out. Next up, we have the CZB Bearing Technology Line Roller. So just like on their Concept Z, which I just happen to have here, this reel does not use any ball bearings. This reel uses those same polymer bushings that are specifically developed for 13 Fishing at the line roller. So they forego the traditional line roller in favor of their proprietary CZB bearing. Next up, we have Nerd Saltwater Protection Process. Whatever. Next, we have 6+2 high-spin corrosion-resistant ball bearings / CZB. So I'm assuming they have 6 high-spin corrosion-resistant ball bearings and 2 CZBs. Okay. Well, I don't know what's a high-spin ball bearing. Aren't all ball bearings high-spin? Anyway, then we have a harsh environment Japanese anti-reverse. Sure. Next up, we have an airfoil carbon centrifuge rotor. Okay. Not sure what that means, but it's a centrifuge rotor and it's got airfoil carbon. Along with the airfoil carbon frame with old school metal body covers.
We're going streaking!
They have they have a logo for old school. They got a logo for nerd. Nerd. Sorry. Okay. Titanium finished flat back injection metal bale wire. What? Panic bait alarm? Turbine single... I'm having trouble getting through this, guys. I'm sorry. Turbine single piece screw-in handle. Okay. I have a feeling it's a one-piece handle that has a screw-in. That's about the only thing out of all of these besides the CZB. If I wasn't already aware of what that meant, that I have a clue of what the heck they're talking about here. And if you guys haven't noticed, I usually have a pretty good clue of what these companies are trying to get across. Glide short stroke oscillation system. Okay. Just want to throw this out there for anybody keeping score. More often than not, a taller spool with a longer oscillation stroke generally means more wraps around the spool before it has to switch directions, and when you cast, the line's flying off the spool at high speeds, and it's basically unraveling the way it was wrapped on. The more line that comes off the spool before it has to switch direction means less turbulence through the guides, because you have that oscillating wave that comes through, and then when it switches direction, it kind of does like a little stutter step, and that little I guess the change in the oscillation will kind of shorten your distance, which is one of the reasons why you have long casting reels. So a short stroke oscillation system may not necessarily be a good thing, and so I just want to take a look at a couple more of these little logos in the box. FIM8 flat. Oh, that's the metal bare wire. Okay. Then you got some making it look like some like a sine waves or something audio wise. I don't know. Parametric EQ kind of crap. CZBs, we recognize that one. We got quadruple Ds, turbine rotor. That looks like a funky looking Ninja Star. No, this one looks like a funky looking Ninja Star because this one is for the turbine rotor and this is for the hybrid drag system. Wait, did I miss something? Hold on. Hey, where's anything about the drag? Okay, they got a logo here. This looks like a taco. We got some nerds. Glide oscillation. Harsh environment. More Ninja Stars and old school. Okay, whatever. Let's go ahead and open up this box because that's what you guys are here for. Enough rambling. I'm going to have to put a timestamp just to get to the point where I open a box so you guys are like, oh, get to it already. It's 5 minutes in. You guys didn't even talk about the reel or look at the reel yet. Alright, so this has a little foam piece that opens up there. We got a little Ziploc baggie with the handle. I don't know if this is how it comes, but this is how it was sent to me from Ryan. And then we have the reel itself. We'll put this right here. We have some excellent quality glossy bathroom reading material. Ooh, wow. This is good enough for a blind man. Okie dokie pokey, 135, 139. Why is it I always look at the handle knob bearings first? Why do I always gravitate towards that? 135. Apparently these do not go into alphabetical order. What? Really? These really aren't in numerical order. Really? Anybody see 135? 135? Handle knob. CZB. Really? That's where your 2 CZB go? So you got the line roller bearing. Wait, no. This is 2 different numbers here. So you got 135. Where's 139? Anybody got 139? Going once? Ball bearing. Okay, so they got a CZB and a ball bearing in here. Does that make sense? So I'm assuming the ball bearing for what, TS30, 48. Okay, it's enough of that. Okay, whatever. What else do we have in here? How to adjust. They got instructions that we will never use. And if you're spending $230 on a reel, usually you don't need them. Welcome to the 13 family. Thank you very much. I'm just a honorary member today since this isn't my reel. Okay. You guys tell me. Actually, I'll clip it up here so I can kind of pinch it. Alrighty. I dig that. That's kind of cool. A lot of material for a light reel. Just saying, it's kind of weighty. You have the 13 logo there. Let's see how precise the knobs are. There's wiggle like this. See how it moves? And then there's tons of in and out. $280 reel, guys. This is where everything is. This is where you feel the reel in the knob. And if you have play in it, and everybody's guilty of it, it's sad, but everybody's guilty of just that. They never really shim the knobs perfectly, which they really should. They should pay extra attention to detail at this location because this is what you're holding on to. This is what makes everything go. And I can feel the click clack in the handle knob. $280 reel. That's not very good. And again, $99 reels. You know, 1 out of every 6 is perfect. The other one is completely different. It doesn't matter what the brand they are. I mean, it's not awful. It's not spectacular. I mean, I wasn't blown away by the Shimano Sustain, and it's not at that level. I like the Ballistic LT better than the Shimano Stratic CI4 and the Sustain, and this is below that. This doesn't quite hit that kind of level of refinement. The Stratic CI4 Plus is spectacular. The Stratic FK is spectacular. This is below the FK. This is below. When you turn the handle on a Tatula LT, you get a better feeling. It's smoother. You don't feel anything going on in this reel. I kind of feel and hear a little raspiness. It's not like liquidy smooth. Oh. That's strange. That's a heavy detent. Let's take a look. And again, if you're fishing for largemouth bass, you don't care. You just want the button down drag that's going to slip, and that's about it. I mean, if you're drop shot, and that's when you're using light line. If you're fishing rivers for smallmouth, if you're trout fishing, I don't know how small this reel goes, so I don't know if they make a reel that I would really want to use for trout, but that's a real heavy detent. I mean, it's heavier than what you would find. This is just a random similar sound, but this is a heavier, chunky detent. Like when you can see my finger kind of jump. It has a nice sound to it, though. I like it. So if a fish is burning drag off, that's pretty cool. And I don't know if you've seen this little kind of cool little effect here with the machining on the spool. I dig that. That's pretty cool. It kind of disappears from whatever angle you're looking at it. That's pretty sweet. Ooh, okay, hold on a second. What the? Alright, so you guys get what I'm getting at here? Why do I hear the bail opening? So my guess is this bail wire is under tension, and it's pushing outward. And yep. It's making, you have to have a little bit of slick and stick room, you know, when it's running on, you know, 2 pieces of plastic or whatever is in here that's running this. And because it's pushing out here, it's causing it to kind of bind, and that's what you're hearing. As we take the Okuma Pixar, which is a, you know, sub $100 reel. And this is how it's done, boys. Again, I'm trying to give you guys an idea of what this reel feels like to me, who is somebody who's handled a lot of reels. Not saying I've handled them all or I'm the most knowledgeable guy out there, but I'm just giving you my first-hand look. You know what? We'll take this off and let's get that out of the way. And yeah, let's get inside because we can. I'm really curious. I really wanted to see what this reel is all about. To be perfectly honest with you. I liked, you know, after putting time on the 13 Fishing Concept Z, I actually started to like it. Did I grab the right screwdriver? So maybe this is one of those things where on the water it's going to be a pleasure, a joy. But right now, $275, guys. This isn't cheap. I like the unique design. It doesn't look like anything else that's on the market, that's for sure. So I was really curious to see what makes this thing tick. As soon as I saw this thing look so unique. And one thing I noticed, that look familiar to you guys? Same general idea. And I know Okuma, if I'm not mistaken, does give this rotor a name. So it's like maybe just throwing it out there. I don't like pointing fingers as to who's making what reel because it's getting confusing nowadays. But I wouldn't doubt. Ooh, there's a little seal. I wouldn't doubt if this was manufactured by Okuma. I think I dropped my wrench a minute ago. Hold on a second, guys. Alright, so I'm thinking this is the one I dropped. Reverse threaded. Okay. 11mm wrench for the 2.0 size. Okay, so you got the counterbalance weight inside here. Nice. You got, looks like a little rotor shim down in there. You got the bail trip lever, and you have a decent amount of paint down in here. That's cool. Now this is... It's rubber. Is it a rotor brake? Doesn't feel like one. So I don't know why that rubber... Is it a seal? Alright. Okay. Straight through to the other side. This is an old school metal side plate. It's not a screw that you see when going into metal. Just pointing that out there. And they have a Torx on the bottom. So far we have 3 different screws between the rotor, retaining nut retainer, and the side plate, and the base, which is that Torx. Okay, that sounded like metal. Okay, that's metal. There's 2 of them. Okay. Is that the old school metal side plate that they actually put a name on? What do we have here? Phillips, Phillips, Phillips. Okay. So good job by hiding the majority of the screws. Makes it look pretty pretty streamlined. I like that. I like how you don't have to go nuts trying to find out what screws go to where. We don't know if we got them all yet, but we're going to go ahead and give it a little... There we go. Okay. This is all plastic. They're airfoil, carbon, whatever it might be. Has a nice feel to it. Very dense. And it looks... It's definitely aluminum. Definitely aluminum. We'll see if we can't get that and take a close look at it. And these screws are definitely going into more of that same... I don't know if it's the same plastic up here at the top. I don't know what this is. This sounds like it might be metal. Cast metal. This could get tricky. We don't know what we're looking at in here. Metal. Aha! Okay. Oh, this is a bail trip ramp. If you want to make it a manual bail, you just take this out and you can open the bail and turn the handle. It'll never trip. It'll just wobble like an unbalanced egg beater, but it won't trip. So it looks like there's 2 screws up in there. So I'm guessing if we try to pull this out, yeah, that's keeping the pinion in there. Now it doesn't look like that's going to fit. Let's get my size 00. Yeah. Ooh, those screws are in there tight. It looks... If you were to take a Pen Battle 2 apart in the smaller sizes, I believe the Pen Battle 2 has the dual shaft support with the oscillation slider that also is kind of supported under torsion by resting flat against the oscillation cam gear. This has 2 metal rods, which is great. This is actually, I believe, a step up over the Fuego and the anything Dio, a Ballistic LT with the dual metal rod support. But you got to ask yourself, in a reel this size, is that extra friction worth it when you're fishing 4 pounds of drag? You know what I mean? I'm not trying to say anything good or bad about anybody else, but I'm just kind of pointing that out. Now, how do we get these little stainless rods out is the million-dollar question. We completely bypass the harsh environment Japanese anti-reverse. So there was absolutely nothing at the top of this preventing water from getting down in there. Just, that has to be said. It's a harsh environment. Okay, so there was grease at the top and the bottom. We don't want to disrupt these rotor shims. Let's leave them there. But I don't know if this is a heavily greased clutch. I'm looking inside, and yeah, it's color matched AR clutch, and it's a Koyo clutch, so it's a great clutch. It really is. This is what you want to see, guys. And this kind of design and configuration is often what you see in a bait casting reel. And I'll tell you what. You look at the sleeves inside there, and sorry, the cylinders, and those little V springs. This is better than what you get in the Ballistic. This is Shimano level, even though it's a Lego part. Shimano's Super Stopper is kind of proprietary to them. Every other one on the market is basically a Lego part. This is a very, very nice anti-reverse clutch. This is what you'll generally see on your bait casting reels, like kind of a lower profile, lots of cylinders. That's pretty good. That's definitely good. I would like to see that in Daiwa reels, to be perfectly honest with you. And you guys, if you haven't paid attention, I like the new Daiwa LT reels. Not the hugest fan of the Exceler and Fuego, although they're pretty good, but they're kind of competitive with everybody else at that price point. And at the $200 range, the Tatula wins out, and the Ballistic LTs are proving to be spectacular. This is more expensive than that, and it's also right off the bat a lot heavier. Like the same size Tatula LT or Ballistic LT, they come in at like 6 ounces. So maybe pushing 7. I have to get the weight on this. Should have done it when I first took it out of the box. And we'll see if we can't get that to slide open. And because we're not prepared for class, we don't know where our tweezers are. So give me one. Oh, right here. If you saw my workspace right now, guys, you'd be like, how the hell do you even function? Oh, what's that? I don't know where they come from. I don't know what that... Is that here? Okay. Whew. Hate when mystery parts fall out of reels. Okay, so I think we got to go from the top and press it in. Or does it go... Yes. Now this is what we want to really see, guys. Very lightweight. Very, 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 very lightweight versus some of the Daiwas that have the stainless axle that goes through that, even though it's a lightweight main gear because it's made out of forged or machined aluminum. Oh, how cute. They have grease that's similarly colored. Let's give this a quick scrub down and we'll take a closer look at it. All right, now that was easy. Let's go ahead now and get up close and personal with this main gear. It's definitely aluminum. You can see here where there's a little scratch that I put on with my screwdriver's tip. So it's a softer metal. And if you look closely, you know what, I'll clip my mic. If you listen, you can hear those little machining marks. But if you look closely, I don't know if it's, I'm going to have to adjust the exposure a little bit. Hang on a second. All right, so if you look here, you can see the face and the friction surface of the gear teeth. There are no machining marks. You can see the machining marks on the inside in here, but not on the face of the gear teeth. So it does indeed look like it's forged, then machined. That's a good gear. Definitely a good gear. That's equal to that of what you'll find in the Ballistic, the Tatula. The only difference being that the die was used a kind of a different kind of axle configuration. If you look at Shimano, they put that alumite or black anodization surface treatment on their forged main gears. That's a great design as well. So this is a little bit, in terms of material, better than what you get out of your traditional cast zinc. I'm looking here at the main gear, the pinion, and I do see a little collar on the inside. If you'll focus just once for us today, there we go. That is designed that when you have a load put on it, meaning you're retrieving, whether it's a crankbait or anything like that, or even a fish, that little collar in there mitigates friction between the pinion and the stainless steel main shaft. And it looks like this is it's a brass pinion. It's a little bit lighter in color than some of the other gears, but that doesn't really tell us much of anything. And then you have the main shaft. Are we able to get it out easily to take a look at the... Oh, it's going to be a pain. We don't want to force or bend anything, so we're just going to leave it as is. And you have the oscillation cam gear and another ball bearing there. And you have 3 screws that look to just hold a little cosmetic piece here, which is fine. And people, you can do whatever you want in that location. And screws don't really cause any issue. So, after a brief time spent on the table, looking at the design, how it feels, looking at the price, I'm not impressed. I mean, at $99, I'd be blown out of the water. Like, this is the best reel ever made for $99. For this style of spinning reel, freshwater based with, I'm not sure what's saltwater about it besides putting a CZB in the handle knob and the line roller. You don't need them there. You can put bushings in there. It'd be perfectly fine. You could put bushings in there, and it's not the lack of low coefficient of friction that prevents the line roller from rolling when under load. It's the saltwater deposits to get in there and jam up everything. And now that I'm doing this, hold on a second, guys. There are a couple serious burrs over here.
Anything that was even remotely a problem ain't there anymore. Trust me.
Get my bearing check tool. Where did I put that? I just had it a second. You guys see it on the table at all? I think I put it in my pocket. What? Why did I put that in my pocket? All right, so that's a nice little burr. Not Bill Burr, but yeah. Tell you what, guys. That's sharp. That's not where you want to see Something like that. I got some of this stuff lying around. Some good old braid. It doesn't look like it's enough to catch on the fibers of the braid. So at least that's a positive. But that's something you don't see very often on a new reel. And I'm curious as to whether or not with this design, this is going to be something, I haven't fished this reel, so I'm just spouting out BS. But you see how that line roller favors this side? That line always wants to go up here. I'm curious whether or not it's going to stay in that groove. You can see what I'm talking about there. Because when you close the bail and the line gets put onto that, it's going to slide further this way and then have to come back to get seated on that little gap. So who knows? I don't know. Again, I haven't fished this reel. This is just a bench fondle, so it's not a review. Please don't call it a review. If you notice, I'm very hesitant using the word review when I do some of these things until I actually put a decent amount of time. But I'll definitely give you my initial thoughts and opinions on it. And it's with that said, let's see if we can't go ahead and take a look at the drag. Carbon fiber washer. Ooh, that's pretty. I like that. I like the cork. I dig it. I have a Tycoon Fenor Megalite somewhere around here. That was an all cork spinning reel drag stack. I have a couple, I had a couple prototype Fenor fly reels that used cork as well. But this is the first time I've ever come across maybe the the Studio Ocean Mark conventional reel. You have to look that bad boy up. Studio Ocean Mark conventional reel. It's about $700, I believe. And that was a long time ago since I've been in one of them. Well before YouTube. And that was a cork drag for a tuna jigging reel. Really cool, beautiful reel. So, yeah. So, I guess it's one of those things where if you like the brand, there's nothing wrong with them. They make some interesting stuff. It's $275. That's why I'm having a tough time saying how much I really like it. Because I do. I like the reel. I like the look. I think it looks unique. I like the rotor look and design. They kind of remove some weight out of this end of it. And that's a fairly rigid rotor. I mean, in comparison to what you get on the Daiwas, the smaller sizes that are not made out of Zion, there is a little less rotor flex on this. But who cares about rotor flex on a reel that's being fished under 4 pounds of drag max? 8 pounds of drag is not even going to flex that rotor. I really like the anti-reverse clutch in it. I think that there are some companies out there that would be better suited switching to this Koyo clutch versus some of the Lego parts that they use, because this is one of the best in the business. The frame, 13 fishing. Please answer me when I ask this question. I beg you. I'm asking politely. Is this the old school metal? Is this what you mean? Really? Is this what you mean by old school metal? Because if so, that's awesome that you slap that old school on the box. That's awesome. Whew. That's pretty cool, man. I gotta give it to you on that one. But, paint job, I dig it. Individualized serial numbers. That's something you don't see. Where is this reel made anyway? Made in Korea. Can't complain. Where's the Akuma made? China. This is made in China. But again, see, when I compared the two, I'm just saying, I don't know. It could be same kind of deal that's contracted out to make the reels. I don't know. No clue. None of the least. Can't even pretend to assume. It just had a look, and I just had that reel out when I was doing the Fuego review. So, Ball bearing support down at the base of the shaft, that it's included in the spool. It's like built in, and that's an interesting design. Yeah, I noticed that when I took the spool for the first time. I just failed to comment on it because me and how I go about things, I usually don't care about ball bearings and freshwater reels at that location to support the spool. It doesn't really make much of a difference to me, but it was kind of interesting to see that's how they did it on this. So I guess before I start going way off in the wild blue yonder off tangent, let's go ahead and call it. Yeah, if you like 13, buy it. If you want a high-end reel from them, side by side with the Shimano, say you're comparing this to a Sustain or a CI4 Plus. I don't know how this is more saltwater resistant. I really don't. I mean, yeah, you're not going to have a ball bearing seize up in there, but a bushing up there, which you'll find on a ton of reels, is going to last the same. To be quite honest with you, I don't see the material being what prevents it from binding up. It's the salt deposits, the mineral deposits that accumulate and dry out that bind up. If you saw a video where I took apart Elias's Fuego, that's exactly what did it in. It could have been a ball bearing, it could have been a bushing, wouldn't matter. And having it in the handle knob and then having a real sloppy handle knob, I mean, here, listen. And then here's off the $99 Fuego. There's a little bit of slop, but it's a little more graceful. And you don't have those silly things on it, which all these are going to do is just collect goop and gunk. And it already feels like you got goop and gunk when you're holding it. Even though they're recessed, your fingers can't tell. What do you want that there for? It makes no sense. Your neon, whatever color reel this is, and then you have more branding on here. Come on. I get it. You're trying to get your name out, which you've already done. But, yeah, it's not a Stratic. It's not on that level of refinement. You can't deny it. You can't take this reel and turn two side by side and then... maybe if you want to pretend because you like the brand, it might feel smoother, but it doesn't. It really doesn't. I like the handle better than some of the other reels on the market, but it's very heavy. I mean, this is off of, again, 2500 size Daiwa. This is a heavy handle compared to this. This is like nothing. This is kind of weighty, and it's weighty down in here. So, and even with that extra mass that can kind of dull any of the internal sensations, it doesn't. You still feel it. And I guess it's with all that being said, it's a unique reel. It's cool looking. We had the scratchy bale wire. The kind of abrasive edge here. The standard pinion. And you know what? That's a good point. Okay. The second pinion bearing support is down in here. So there is a second bearing. Almost completely overlooked that. So you have the bearing that's supporting the pinion at the top, and you have a bearing down in here. So, I mean, that's cool. That works for me. That definitely works for me. Isolates the pinion very nicely. Has a little seal at the top at the main shaft. No sealing for the AR clutch. And no sealing at the handle entry area. So you could flood that with grease, which is going to add a little bit of resistance. If you're fishing saltwater, you'll probably take the resistance over shot bearings. But the handle side bearings aren't really the ones that really get beat up on. It's this one up here. So this reel will not outlast, in my opinion, Daiwa BG. No way, no how. I mean, it's that pinion bearing on the Daiwa BG goes all the time. And every reel you use in the salt, that's the first bearing to go, besides the line roller bearing. So... it doesn't use bearing there, but it uses bearing there, and it's $280, and there's nothing keeping water out of here. There's a seal that's going to kind of, we don't know how effective it is, keep water from getting down this tube, which then exits down in here. That's one thing, but it's the bearing at the top that's going to be wide open. So I don't know what the purpose is marketing this as a saltwater reel is. I don't know, maybe because they're corrosion resistant ball bearings, but yeah. I know they're not on the level, or at least they're not the MNBs that the Daiwa Saltist use with the bronze shield. They're just standard, unless there's some other brand that I'm not aware of. I didn't really take a close look. It's not really worth it to go into detail there. But you know what? We're already here. Might as well. Is there anything I can tell? No, they're just standard bearings. I'm not special about high spin, whatever that means. Nice tolerance. That was a hard snap to get in there. But, alright guys, that's enough of your time that I've taken up just rambling about this seafoam green reel. And, you know, I appreciate all the time you guys spend here. Without you, I wouldn't exist on this platform. We're now closing in on, you know, 1.5, 1.6 million views a month. 23,000 subscribers is where I'm at right now at the posting of this video. We just gave away a couple, you know, almost $1,000 of reels in the last couple weeks alone. So we're going to keep on keeping on, and I appreciate you all for joining me. And until next time, guys, tight lines, and I'll see you soon. I kind of dig the color. I ain't gonna lie. Old school. Nerd. I don't know where the nerd is. Where's the nerd? I don't know. I'm the nerd.